Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to something new on this channel, Weapons Verified. In this video series I will show you weapons and equipment as they are displayed in a game I covered before, and give you some background information on the weapon itself and how accurate its depiction is. And the very first weapon I cover is the famous Sturmgewehr 44, or more commonly known under the abbreviation StG 44. Being the very first assault rifle, there are quite some myths about it, and just let me put this straight right at the beginning. For anyone really interested in small arms and their inner workings, it is absolutely clear the AK-47 is not a copy of the StG 44. Their concept of production and use is pretty much the same, but that's about it. The idea behind the StG 44 was the infantry needed an automatic weapon for close quarters firefights, and at the same time a rifle precise enough for typical engagements in more or less open terrain over longer distances, that were still fought at a shorter distance than the rounds for typical rifles of the time could shoot at. Ideas for a weapon combining both these seemingly incompatible concepts by using a smaller cartridge already surfaced in Germany at the end of the First World War. In 1923, the German army tried to find a replacement for its Gewehr 98, which led to the development of various shorter cartridges and the automatic carbine model A35, though this gun was too complicated and unsafe to handle. It would take the German government until 1938 to contract the company C.G. Hänel to start the development of an intermediate cartridge automatic rifle. Even then it did not really progress until the Wehrmacht ran into the mass submachine guns and semi-automatic rifles of the Red Army. In an unprecedented effort to reduce logistical problems, it was decided to use a shortened version of the German standard 7.92 by 57mm Mauser round, the 7.92 by 33mm Kurz. Kurz means short. Both the companies Walter and Hänel were contracted to submit prototypes for a weapon now called Maschinenkarabiner 1942 or MKB-42. In the end, the weapon made by Hänel proved to be superior in field trials, though the final version incorporated design features of the Walter Design 2. At this point, in March 1943, the MKB-42 was accepted into service and could have become the standard weapon of the Wehrmacht. The problem was, not only had Hitler time and again tried to stop the development, which the Waffenamt circumvented, or tricked, in redesignating the weapon as a submachine gun named MP-43, but in March 1943 he only allowed to produce enough weapons for further field evaluation. It took him until September to make up his mind and allow mass production. It was redesignated again after receiving some minor upgrades as MP-44, and finally in July 1944, after a general had referred to the gun as a new rifle the German army needed far more of, Hitler eventually recognized the value of the weapon, giving it the name Sturmgewehr, assault rifle. Alright, now let's take a look at the StG 44 as it is in the game and how it compares to reality. As you just saw, it empties the magazine of 30 rounds in 3 to 4 seconds, which is as correct as it gets. The StG 44 had a firing rate of 550 to 600 rounds per minute, and this means up to 10 rounds per second. I'm pretty fine with that. Actually, it is more accurate than in Call of Duty World War II. By the way, there was also a 15 rounds magazine that the soldiers often preferred, as it allowed them to stay closer to the ground, while the 30 rounds mag was mainly used during urban combat, assault or retreat. Sadly, one of the most important features of the gun is missing: the selective fire. Though you are able to fire single shots, the semi-auto mode is not in the game. At least the result of semi-auto is there. The StG 44 is surprisingly precise if you fire only single shots, which concurs with German, Soviet and Western allies' test results. One thing I realized while evaluating Call of Duty World War II was how much more punch the StG 44 packs in World at War. While it may take you 5 to 8 bullets to take down an enemy in the newer CoD, in World at War 2 hits are usually enough. This is pretty accurate. Remember, the gun uses a 7.92 by 33mm round, and these are big for today's standards, usually enough to blast off a part of the head or even separate limbs under some circumstances. Another thing I really missed though in pretty much every modern shooter besides the dated Brothers in Arms series is the capability of sustained semi-automatic and automatic fire to pin down and suppress an enemy. This is one of the main benefits of StG 44 equipped units that shows up in various battle reports of the time. The usual tactic for withdrawal or advance for German infantry units was to suppress the enemy with MGs until the regular men reached their intended position, and then try to achieve the same with their Karabiner 98K or sometimes Gewehr 43. With the StG 44 this worked far better, especially on the retreat, with the MG gunners covering the regular soldiers, whom in turn would cover the MG team with short bursts from their weapons while it ran back to safety. This also worked partially on the offensive. In total I would say the StG 44 is displayed rather nicely and accurate in Call of Duty World at War, and if they had implemented the selective fire option you wouldn't need any other gun. Alright, that's it for today. Special thanks to Vector Vitale for his great idea to do these short Weapons Verified videos, and to Phil for providing additional info and insight on the Sturmgewehr 44. If you liked this video, maybe you want to take a look at either the CoD World at War or World War II videos, and please consider subscribing if you didn't do so already. All the best and see you on the next video.